So, if you want to cheat and you want to show off among your friends, either in school or college, whatever that is, you're actually in the right place. So, using the Wordle AI, you can find it on the Chrome extension. I would try to figure out how to put it there, but it's the Wordle AI player in here. You click play. You're gonna see some console stuff going on. It's going to see it starts immediately typing everything, and I'm not typing anything really. So it types everything in there. It knows what is actually the output, and it kind of analyzes what's going on, like what colors it got, like the feedback it got from the game, and it tries to guess another word. It's clearly in here, it's guessing for the second word in the row. It's clearly, it found another one, it goes ahead and try like bloat or whatever it is, and it just clicks enter by itself. It does everything by itself, which is quite amazing, and I enjoy it. So you see, it found the final word in just like a couple seconds, like less than a minute. And aloft is our word for today. Yay, impressive. We got it figured out. So since the Wordle stuff actually started and a lot of people were interested on it and the game went viral absolutely everywhere, I started thinking, oh, because I failed a couple of times and I literally didn't figure out how to find my first word, well, I just tried a couple of ways and I thought, oh, there must be an AI because literally this is just words and everything. And it went really, really good to the point to create an actual AI that is put together inside of a Chrome extension that just works right. Amazing. So if you wanted to see my journey, how I created this through all of that, so you can go and follow me on how I did that. So I basically started on putting together a Chrome extension using a Chrome extension CLI. So this basically scaffolds you a project that you can basically deploy and publish into the Chrome store. So this is actually, it's a boilerplate. It has everything that you need. It's really, really well made up. And this is what I've generated. So this is what it generates for you or scaffolds as a project. So you get this particular basic projects with some pop-up, with some already CSS made out, content script in here, as you see in a background script. I'm gonna basically be using the content script in here to put everything together. So after doing some research and looking around Google on previously made AI or whatever that is, so we can get an idea of what we are actually getting or being involved into and what the AI is gonna be doing and how it's gonna work behind the scenes and the strategy behind building the AI. So I found a pretty good, interesting stuff, not really that much though, but I found this one. It seems pretty interesting, but it doesn't have much of documentation explaining what it is. So try to look into the com.py in here, and this seems pretty interesting, even though the algorithm is really hard to understand what is going on, but it seems to be doing. So I tried to go ahead and play around with this, and he found a really good result into this, that it works perfectly in order to find the words. And it has a word list, and it seems like when I searched a lot, I found this word list to be pretty common word list that somehow Wordle uses. Or basically, I think this is like the most common words that have 5 letters, because we all know that Wordle only supports 5 letters. So you only want to figure out those word lists or this huge list of words that are only containing 5 characters or 5 letters of different words that make sense. So I tried to clone this in order to take a look on it and see how it works. So this is the files, and it seems like after looking into this deeply, if you do cat.py, you're gonna find this is basically the script that is using, and it doesn't have any relationship with any other script like the full scan average, whatever that is, and the prime or whatever all of those are meaning. So all of these seem pretty legit, and this is what the behind the scenes. So I'm going to go ahead and try it. So I'm going to use Python, and I think this uses Python 3.7, and here for some reason there is Python, I'm going to do 3, so I got 3.8. I think it would do the job. So I'm going to do Python 3. I'm going to run comp.py, and let's see how it goes. So I think it gives you the words that you need to enter first. So I think you just take the words in here, and whenever you actually enter the stuff, for example, AESYR, you put that, and you put the feedback inside of it back again. So the feedback in here will be like something 2, then a comma separated list. So 0 is actually bad, and right one, or the green one, is actually marked by 2, and the yellow is marked by 1. So you just put the input in here, and it doesn't have that much of really good feedback. It doesn't tell you that it's looking for the word or whatever that is. But yeah, it gives you the second word in here. It was pretty fast. So bloat, you put the bloat in here, and it seems to be actually working absolutely fine though. If you put the bloat in here and you put, for example, 0, 2, 2, 1, 2. Yep, the final word is aloft, and this is what will give us a win. So after putting in aloft, yes, this is actually the right word and it works. So this is actually really good, and it seems to be working fine. If you want to learn more about the math behind the script and the algorithm that empowers the Wordle AI solver and everything, there's a really good YouTube video explaining this from the 3 Blue 1 Brown YouTube channel. It's pretty well made up and pretty detailed with cool animations. So I really advise you to go and check it out before jumping to this video if you really want to understand everything about these algorithms and how entropy works and how searching words does work and all that kind of stuff. So you can just enjoy it to the fullest. So after reading the script a couple of times and trying to figure out what is going on, there seems to be using some LRU cache, and after reading some articles around the internet, there seems to be they use an LRU cache, or at least recently used cache, to cache the arguments of a function, and it caches the response for that function, because there seems to be this function, because it has like a for loop, and this function gets called inside of 2 other nested for loops. So that would make it an O of n, or O of like, I think it's 3n, or n, yeah, n to the power of 3, which is a pretty bad kind of complexity that you don't want to put yourself into. So that's why the caching here is being used. So whenever you supply the 2 words, because they're going to be a lot of other words that are going to be supplied over and over again, and they're just going to be repeated together. So that's what's going to happen basically. So that's what I'm going to try to do, is actually to figure out the LRU cache. And I found a really good one. There seems to be a really good libraries, is the LRU Memorize and the LRU Memwise. So the first time I tried to use this Memwise, or the LRU Memwise, and it got a pretty bad performance. It took me like, I don't know, an hour or more than that just to find a word, like just to make the script suggest me a single word. And after some debugging, I figured out this is not the function or the right function for me. So I got rid of this Memwise thing in here, which was using this LRU cache, and I changed it with this Memorize with a different package called the LRU Memorize. So I tried to figure out how the script works, and I tried to convert this into a JavaScript program. I started looking of what behind the scenes of the script and the caching mechanism and everything, and I tried to actually convert into the JavaScript code that can run on the browser. And of course, we need to respect the performance kind of restrictions and everything that goes around behind the scenes of that. So in order to do that, we need to make sure that the extension uses the background script and manages to talk to the content script as well. So after a lot of tries, like going back and forth with the algorithm and trying to convert it right and, get the variables right, so we're finally actually ready to test this out and see how it works. So we've got like a working prototype, and right now what it does is basically just uses the input, or like the alert prompts, to enter the input data, and it works on the same web page, but it's not really that interactive as you may want to imagine, like an AI playing the actual game. Well, let's go ahead and start the Chrome extension in here, or the AI. So you click play, you're going to get immediately that, so you're going to say enter this word. The chosen word is AESIR into the Wordle. So I'm going to do AESIR and click enter. So you got the first one correct and we got the rest not. So you're going to be interpreting this into, like, for now how it works, you're going to be interpreting this into like numbers. For the correct one, it has like a green of 2, so you enter number 2. For the wrong ones, the gray one, it's 0, and for like the yellow ones, is going to be 1. So we don't have any yellows. I'm going to just input 2, then 4 zeros afterward. So I'm going to do 2, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Click enter, and yeah, the next process or the next step is going to be looking for the next word. And this is basically the part where it takes a little bit of time, because it needs to look on all the words. So right now it took around like 12 to 15 seconds, but sometimes it may take a little bit more, like 20 seconds, which could be a little bit kind of frustrating. So we will try to figure out a best way to optimize this. Plus, we're going to provide like some progress bar or loading or something like this that tells the user that, oh, the AI is actually thinking about the next move. So our next word is bloat. So I'm going to do BLOAT. and I got really good match. So okay, so I can enter 0, 2, 2, 1, and I think 0 or 2. All right, and done. So the final word right now is aloft, and this is actually the correct word and whatever. So if you enter aloft right over here and you click enter, you're gonna immediately see that this is the correct word. And hallelujah. So we got our AI to figure it out, and it was just in a little teeny tiny amount of time to do it for us in here. So after a very long time just debugging, taking a look in different codes and different strategies into getting that, and also I was trying to like manipulate of how Wordle works and what, like how tiles are put together, and for example like how you access the row, and he saw that it probably uses the shadow DOM, which means basically it uses some kind of a framework that allows it to basically render that shadow DOM. So he made it a little bit more complicated for us to actually handle and access the DOM elements in order to be able to manipulate and you know, add the values and make the AI actually type inside of like those small tiles right over here. So as you can see, I get the Wordle or the Wordle AI player, click play, I get some, you know, the first initials, and as you can see, it start typing by itself. It's all by itself. I'm not doing anything here in my hands, and literally just it's doing it by itself from the AI perspective. So it thinks as well. As you can see everything in the console. But the only thing right now is actually you see the looking for the next word in here on the console, but it doesn't display a UI or something. But I would love to see some UI saying, oh, I'm looking for the next word. So the user would actually know that the AI is basically thinking. But yeah, as you can see, it types in, it waits a couple seconds, it tries different words, then he gets the actual input and the result, and he knows what's going on, and it puts the second word, and this should be the final word actually, aloft, the final word, and there you go. It's impressive, and we got the score and everything, we fixed that. So if you run just you're gonna be finding like less than 30 seconds or something if you just like open up the tab and start working on it. It's such an amazing, right? Hey, good morning. So we did a really good job with the extension. I'm so far so excited about the extension and the main idea behind it. I did some tweaks last night and it was going pretty well. I made out some changes. I moved the background scripts. I'm trying to use the background script with like back and forth messaging between the content script to make it more reliable and not to block the current web pages thread. So it would make more sense and a better user experience in my opinion, and it's really well right now. It uses some pop-ups, it's better for user experience, and yeah, I mean, it's fast enough. Maybe we can find some little teeny tiny stuff that can make it a little bit better in terms of performance, sometimes, or maybe just like cut it from like 20 seconds to something like 10 seconds in half or something like that. So that would be really good. So after spending a couple of hours just refining the code and refactoring here and there, we made it out into a really good state with our extension right now. I did refactor the code to move it from the content scripts into the background scripts. And the reason for this, because I noticed some, like blocking threads, because we were running some for loops that these for loops, like for example, this one, they were like nested for loops inside of each other's, and they take like a couple of seconds, like from maybe 5 to 20 seconds. And you don't want to block the main thread or the main web pages thread in order for it to basically wait for that for loop to finish. So the solution was to move everything, all of these for loops and everything, all the logic behind it, and move it behind the scenes into the background script. Now, the background script is actually mainly used and runs on a separate thread, completely separate from the web pages thread, and which is making it really good. So you're not gonna be like blocking the web page if you're running like blocking or really long time or really long consuming time kind of like code or logics or for loops or any of that sort. So it works really well right now. I did some refactoring and now it actually communicates with the actual content script throughout the messaging mechanism that Chrome extensions basically just go ahead and provides out of the box. So if you check out the final results, as Chris in here, I also changed the favicon in here to match the extension favicon, or the icon of the extension to match the actual Wordle extension. So hallelujah, that looks good. But if you try to start this real quick, you get this really nice pop-ups. They, just like let you know what's going on behind the scenes and if you need to wait or what's actually happening. So you get the first word in here. As clear say, this is a completely different one because it's like day 3 or something of recording. So you're probably going to be seeing this. And yeah, as clear as in here, we get this looking for next word, which is pretty sweet. Actually, you can't click it out, by the way. So you need to wait for the AI to basically think about the next move. And yeah, as soon as it finds the other word in here, it puts it together, it gets the feedback and everything. It knows what's going on. Then it goes and looks for the next word. And likely this one is pretty simple, because how the algorithm basically works is like divides the word list into half every single time it finds a match, or if it gives you a word, it tells the feedback. So curiously, it gets faster and faster after time. So just like the first try is going to be like 10 to 15 seconds, then afterwards it's going to be super duper fast. You're not going to be noticing anyway. And yeah, here you go. We found the final word in here, and that's our final word. I think it's skill or something like this. Yeah, because I was trying it this morning. So yeah, hallelujah. This looks absolutely amazing. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys liked this one. I'll try to put this extension into the Chrome store, so you can look out for like a Chrome store web extension down in the description below. And hope you guys gonna enjoy it.